You know what time it is. It's your boy, Aquaman, back with another Fuego video. This headline is wild. Most people, this headline is going to go right over their head. They're going to think this is some type of weirdo city or God knows what they're going to conjure up in their mind. But let's read this headline together. El Salvador announces $1.6 billion investment that will kickstart Bitcoin City. Bitcoin City. One of two seaports that will be transformed sits near the site of country's planned tax-free crypto haven. Let's read a little bit here. El Salvador is getting massive infrastructure investment that is expected to support the build-out and its visionary Bitcoin City. The government said Sunday that Yilport, a Turkish holding company, will invest $1.62 billion in two of El Salvador's seaports, marking the largest private investment in the country's history. This will be mixed ownership between the Yilport company and El Salvador, which will operate both seaports for the next 50 years, said the government in a video statement shared by El Salvador's president, none other Nayib Bukele. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I did not butcher that, but it says here, the agreement is a product of Bukele's visit to Turkey back in 2022. Now, why would El Salvador want to build a Bitcoin city? Well, if you know anything about Bitcoin, it is not some old Cadillac digital asset that's not going to make it in the future. Bitcoin has massive utility. Get away from that native mindset. ISO is better than Bitcoin or Bitcoin is better than ISO. Everyone has a role to play and it's all connected. It's all connected. Let me show you some of the cool stuff that they're doing in El Salvador. Did you know that El Salvador is tapping into volcano power? That is right. Yes, a real live volcano with geothermal resources. They've already used these geothermal resources to mine $29 million in Bitcoin. Let me read it here. The government of El Salvador has used geothermal power from a volcano to mine $29 million in Bitcoin. El Salvador has mined almost 474 Bitcoin thanks to a volcano-fueled geothermal power plant. Reuters reported this week, citing official data from the country's Bitcoin office. I can see why they would want a Bitcoin city. They got a volcano powering their Bitcoin mine. What? Did you guys just hear me? Did you guys just read along with me? How wild is that? But they want you to think that Bitcoin is some electricity sucking monster. It takes more energy than an entire country. But here we are, got Bitcoin running off of an actual volcano, tapping into the geothermal resources. Bro, if this isn't huge, I don't know what is. This has to be probably the only site where they're utilizing, as of right now, a volcano, tapping into the geothermal energy to use that energy to mine Bitcoin. And then whatever is excess, they're giving it back to the grid. Oh my God. Y'all better wake up. Ditch that native mindset. XRP's better than Bitcoin. Look, everyone's got their own role, man. Everyone's got their own role, period. It says here, the plan was championed by El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, the Bitcoin enthusiast who was this year reelected for the second term. And this is the same president. Let's talk about him before I show you that cool video.
Always tell me the problem is high taxes. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Paper. Government is financed by treasury bonds. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money. But what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Someone could ask, well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money, why do they collect taxes? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not.
Did y'all hear that? This man, I rock with El Salvador. Let me get a vacation house in El Salvador next, period. As a matter of fact, when I went to Costa Rica to go drink ayahuasca, it's so funny that the plane had no other option but to land in El Salvador. I forgot what was happening with the runway in Costa Rica, but we had to land in El Salvador for a couple hours. So I've technically been there, just the airport, but I'm going to get a house there now. The president is amazing. They understand Bitcoin. They are tapping into a volcano, for crying out loud. Check this one out as well. El Salvador mines Bitcoin worth $29 million. Let's hear it from the News, Washington, First Post themselves.
And staying in Latin America, El Salvador has mined Bitcoins worth some $29 million since 2021, all thanks to a volcano. Hundreds of processors have been installed at a power plant near the Tecapa volcano that harnesses the geothermal energy which is used to mine the Bitcoin. With this milestone, El Salvador has set a prime example of mining cryptocurrencies in an environment-friendly way. Our next report explains how El Salvador is now leading the way on mining cryptocurrency.
When it comes to Bitcoin, the Latin American nation of El Salvador appears to be on top of its game. Official data shows that it has mined Bitcoins worth some $29 million in the last 3 years, all thanks to a volcano. El Salvador's Bitcoin office reports that it has mined nearly 474 Bitcoins since 2021, which means that the government coffers now hold a total of 5,750 Bitcoins, which is estimated to be worth over $350 million. This has made El Salvador one of the top countries in pioneering this cryptocurrency. But what's more impressive is how the nation is using a volcano to fill its Bitcoin reserves. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele, who's a well-known Bitcoin maximalist, has set a prime example of mining the cryptocurrency in an eco-friendly way. His government has installed 300 processors at a state-owned power plant near the Tecapa volcano that harnesses geothermal energy for Bitcoin mining. And out of the 102 megawatts of electricity produced by the power plant, 1.5 megawatts are solely devoted to cryptocurrency mining. Elsewhere in the world, cryptocurrency miners are often criticized for their electricity sapping operations. Cryptocurrency mining requires large amounts of energy for computing and cooling data processing centers, which raises concerns of weakening power grids and carbon emissions. Now, the passion for cryptocurrency mining is not new to President Bukele. In 2021, Bitcoin became a legal tender in El Salvador alongside the US dollar under his first term. At the time, Bukele also sketched his plans for a Bitcoin city and pushed to improve the economy of Bitcoin Beach, a small beach town that was among the first to adopt Bitcoin as a payment method. However, Bukele received backlash for embracing the volatile cryptocurrency, both from the citizens of his country and the International Monetary Fund. But this didn't stop him from maintaining his stance on the issue and winning his second term earlier this year.
Not only do we support and ratify Bitcoin, but it also enjoys the highest credibility worldwide following the announcement by the US Security and Exchange Commission, which recognized cryptocurrencies as an ETF, that is, as a trading and exchange fund.
Now, as Bukele's government looks to achieve its Bitcoin dream, reports say that most people in El Salvador ignore the virtual currency and instead prefer to transact in US dollars. A survey showed that about 88% of the residents did not use Bitcoin in 2023, and just 1% of remittances were sent in the cryptocurrency. With Salvadorans still not trusting Bitcoin, Bukele now needs a broader strategy to make it work as a successful legal tender.
If anybody can figure it out, I'm pretty sure it's this man. I got a lot of confidence in this man. For whatever reason, they're just not woken up over there. Who knows why, what the issues are, and what the challenges they may have. But the fact that they are mining with geothermal energy from their volcano and they've made $29 million, well, that speaks loudly. That speaks loudly to where Bitcoin is headed. Bitcoin ain't going nowhere, period. And you can throw other proof of work projects in that, you know, the fork of Bitcoin like Litecoin, Dogecoin, Caspa. These are all proof of work that are going to change the game when it comes to giving the world its energy. Yo, this right here totally excited me. Like I said, I'm getting a vacation house in El Salvador, period. But listen, if you like this video, please give me a subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment below on what your thoughts are. A volcano made $29 million. How many volcanoes can say the same, right? That is awesome. That is huge. I'll see y'all in El Salvador at some point in time. Much love.